Chris, Thomas et Gisele. Ils boivent un café ou bien quoi? Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Oh. Alors, ils sont là, mes enfants. C'est pas l'heure du thé, hein, donc voilà. Allez, voilà, on y est arrivé. Et donc, si vous voulez en savoir un peu plus sur ce que nous propose Salvatore, 0485 68 23 55 et vous contactez en direct Salvatore, vous en saurez plus sur son travail. Gisele, Chris, Thomas, c'est enfin à vous. Merci. Votre public.
Merci. Alors, je vais... I'm going to present you first in French, of course, because you know your life. Donc, nous avons vraiment le grand honneur d'accueillir Chris Thomas, qui n'est pas, comme a dit Jérôme, il n'est pas ingénieur du son en ces termes, il est plutôt producteur. C'est d'abord un musicien et qui a fait de la production. Et donc, évidemment, bon, c'est vrai qu'on est toujours un petit peu... On mélange un petit peu les genres, hein. On ne sait plus qui est un ingénieur, qui est producer. En Angleterre, ça c'est très, très courant de cumuler les deux choses, mais donc ils ne revendiquent pas du tout ce titre d'ingénieur du son. Donc je vais commencer par une petite série de questions, et puis surtout, si vous laissez du temps pour pouvoir poser des questions vous-même, et donc je vais essayer de les traduire au fur et à mesure. Je ne suis pas quelqu'un qui fait la traduction simultanée, donc on va travailler un petit peu lentement, mais donc je vous demande la bienveillance là-dessus. Okay, my first question. In an interview in 1998, you said to the journalist who was interviewing you that you didn't want to do a career as a band, in a band, and because you didn't want to go on tour. You thought we would prefer to do studio works. So can you just talk about that a bit?
I like going on tour.
Donc il avait demandé, il avait été interviewé en 98 dans un magazine, et il avait dit, voilà, je travaillais avec un groupe, j'ai pas envie de faire de la tournée, je préfère travailler en studio. Et il est en train maintenant de dire le contraire, c'était peut-être pas juste. Okay, so you like to go on tour?
I like going, yeah. I played here with John Cale in '75. We did 2 European tours. We played just up the road in Metz. Mm-hmm. That was the first gig that we did. And I toured America, I think 4 times with Procol Harum in the early 70s as well.
Donc voilà, il a fait quand même des tournées avec John Cale. Et puis aussi Procol Harum, et donc il aimait bien tourner. Donc c'est une, si vous regardez Wikipédia, c'est pas juste.
So I like life on the road.
Okay.
I like life on the road, but as a career, I felt that I was going to be a producer. I had to be a producer.
Ok, il aimait bien être sur la route, mais il a pensé que sa destinée c'était plutôt d'être un producteur, et c'est ce qu'il fait. My second question is. You produced Birthday and Happy Day is a Warm Gun for the Double White album, as well, playing harpsichords on Piggies and the mellotron on Bungalow Bill. And how did the Beatles? You were not credited as producer at this time. Nothing was written. Okay. Donc, il a produit pour les Beatles. Il a travaillé sur des chansons sur le double album blanc. Donc, Birthday, Happiness is a Warm Gun. Il a aussi joué les claviers sur 4 chansons de White Album. Le clavier le clavecin sur Piggies. Et puis Mellotron sur Bungalow Bill. Et donc je demandais je demandais pourquoi il n'a pas été crédité. Ben, non, j'ai pas été crédité, c'était comme ça. I think at this time it was not. I mean, EMI didn't think about putting credential. Am I right? I mean, they were thinking it's okay. It's
no, what happened
the company
on the White Album? On the White Album, they decided that they weren't going to say produced by, engineered by. They decided they were going to do thanks. Mm-hmm. And if you look on that original poster, it says thanks to, and it's a list of names, and it finishes up saying, and everybody at number 9.
Oh.
Have you seen? Do you
No,
know?
I've
You've never seen that?
No.
It's on the poster.
Ok.
That's
Donc,
and those are the credits.
donc à la place de mettre produit par, donc il faisait une série de remerciements et il listait tous les noms, et à la fin il mettait number 9, le numéro 9.
And in actual fact, Paul and John were chatting in number 2 studio in the control room about who should be on the list. And they said, obviously, George Martin. And John said to Paul, he said, Chris should be next to George. So that's the reason I'm the second on the list. And that was down to John. That was John's idea.
Donc, Paul et John discutaient de qui allait figurer sur la liste des credits. Et donc, ils avaient décidé de mettre George Martin. Et pour une raison qu'on va expliquer aussi après, Paul a dit non, c'est Chris Thomas qui doit être mentionné.
Sorry. I was going to say I was in the control room so I could hear them talking.
Et donc, il était dans le studio. Et donc, le talkback était branché, donc il a entendu toute la conversation. Donc c'est comme ça que ça s'est passé. Et qu'est-ce que je voulais dire là-dessus? Quelque chose d'autre. Yeah, we are all orphans of the Beatles. I mean, why we are doing such conventions like here? It's because we want to retrieve the memory of the Beatles all the time. And so we want to keep the legend going. And we enjoy discussing with people like you because you were there. You were there. You have been living this experience that we try to find every little note or whatever, people writing things sometimes wrong. We know. we don't put names on that. we will be smart. But what is your personal feeling if the band has not stopped, and if two of them would be still there? What do you think they should have continued? I translate the question. On est tous des orphelins des Beatles. C'est pour ça qu'on fait des conventions comme celle-ci, parce qu'on est tous en train de chercher un peu la vérité. On s'accroche à des petites phrases qu'on peut retrouver dans les bouquins. Et donc ma question c'était, si les Beatles avaient été toujours ensemble et qu'ils étaient toujours tous les 4, qu'est-ce qu'ils seraient devenus, à son avis, en tant que musiciens, puisqu'il les a vus travailler?
It's a long question.
It's a long question.
Short answer, I don't know.
So, I mean, I have a silly question.
Not silly, no.
Yeah, back in the 70s, your approach in the studio was more to capture layers of instrumentation, or more material that you could eventually use, or just sort of going straight to the point, to the right sound. I mean, it's something we discussed yesterday in the car.
I don't follow you quite. Sorry.
Yeah. Your approach was to build the song by putting layers of sound, or
Not
just to get the right.
Okay,
You see what I mean?
I understand what you mean.
I translate that. Je dis que je lui demande si la manière de construire ces chansons, c'était de mettre des couches musicales et de pouvoir avoir le choix à la fin pour pouvoir travailler. Donc, you answer for that.
The thing I used to like doing, I didn't like the idea of just doing, say, 10 backing tracks for a record and then sort of doing all the guitar parts or then all the vocals. I like to do each song one by one and let the song grow naturally, so that then if you think of one idea, then that might follow, then another idea follows, and the thing starts to grow very, very naturally, very quickly. So I like to finish song by song.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I like to work.
Donc, ce qu'il aime faire, c'est prendre une chanson et puis la faire, la construire et la terminer surtout. Hein, donc, surtout pas d'empiler les pistes comme on a un peu tendance à faire maintenant avec les outils comme on peut avoir les outils numériques. Et donc, quand il sort du studio, le truc doit être fini, quoi. It's also for that reason that you also ask for rough mixes, and you want to when you want to have a finished stuff. You were mentioning yesterday Pretenders, where you did something with them, and it was a rough mix which finally stayed there.
Two of the songs on the first Pretenders album, Tattooed Love Boys and Precious, they were both mixes that I did at the end of the day, and I took them home. And then much later on, because we made the album over a long period of time, I thought, well, it's okay, they're fine as they are. So I didn't go back to try to mix them again. So I just let everything, by the time I finished the last overdub, that's pretty much, I've already sorted all the echoes out and everything as I'm recording.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's very important.
The last overdub is like the last brushstroke, and that's the end of the painting.
Yeah. Donc il a effectivement donc fait son travail de captation et de mixage, et de faire un mixage, un rough mix. Et donc 2 mois après, ou bien longtemps après, il a réécouté ce mixage, et il était censé remixer. Et il a dit, c'est pas la peine, tout va bien comme ça. Et donc d'ajouter juste la petite touche, comme un peintre qui va finir son tableau en fait. I have a question which comes from somebody from the floor regarding Ringo Starr. Yeah. Because we were talking about the drummer sound and who is a good drummer or a better drummer than others, and we have the impression that Ringo's parts were more or less written or maybe by George Martin. Maybe that's something you can answer for that.
Definitely not.
Okay. So William, on avait l'impression, nous ça c'était une question, on a discuté ça au petit déjeuner avec le batteur de notre groupe tout à l'heure, et il pensait que tout était bien construit, que George Martin écrivait plus ou moins les arrangements comme on écrit pour la musique classique, et y compris les parties de batterie. Et la réponse est non, pas du tout. So you mean the same way the Beatles were constructing the songs in the studio?
Yeah. It's the same with most bands. When you're learning a song, each particular member of the band starts to write his own part. And that's what Ringo did, the same as George would do when he's working out his guitar solo or his guitar part. They all did the same thing.
But when it comes to arrangements, I mean, all the work that George Martin has been done.
He only did string arrangements. He didn't tell them what to play on the songs.
Okay, so voilà, la construction des morceaux, c'est vraiment les Beatles qui ont fait, toujours eux-mêmes. Et puis c'est un petit peu la cerise sur le gâteau qui a amené the cherry on the cake that was wrote by George Martin. I would like to talk about some other artists, which are my concern. I noticed that you've been working a lot with Pete Townsend, and I read his book, and he's singing your praises. I mean, he's very fond of you, and I just want you to witness a bit of work with Pete. Donc Chris a un pédigré d'artistes très très long, dont Pete Townsend, donc le guitariste des Who. Et je voulais demander à Chris de nous parler un petit peu de ce travail, parce que comme c'est un groupe que j'aime énormément, d'avoir un petit peu son avis là-dessus. Voilà. So the question is, how was the work with Pete? How did you construct the work? Or
I loved working with Pete. It's
because
fantastic.
he's more technically minded. I mean,
yeah, but when it comes down to it, you're just working again. It's a question of the song, and you're just doing the same kind of process with each artist that you work with. You're trying to get a good performance. You are maybe concentrating on the construction of the song. Should it be changed? Can we add anything? Can we take something out? So it's pretty much the same kind of discipline with each, because it's the song that I'm thinking about more than the artist.
Mm-hmm. Ok, donc c'est aussi la même chose, la construction de travail. On pense plus à la chanson en fait qu'à l'artiste. You think more about the construction of the song. That's what you mean?
Well, yeah, in the sense that, but I mean, what I'm trying to say is that the song is the most important thing. When I'm working with a band, then the person I relate to in the band more than anybody else will be the songwriter, because that's the thing
core,
that you're looking for.
yeah,
But on the other hand, you're also trying to help everybody make the best contribution they can towards that song.
Oui, donc lorsqu'il travaille avec, surtout quand l'artiste est lui-même compositeur, donc il se met à la disposition pour pouvoir faire tout ce qu'il faut pour que la chanson décolle bien, et puis de donner son meilleur techniquement aussi. And also, you've been working with the Sex Pistols.
Yeah.
And I read somewhere in the notes that I've been taking for this interview that people didn't agree because people was criticizing you because they say, oh, how can you do that? How can you work with Sid Vicious and the gang? And
Well, Sid wasn't really there, so it doesn't matter.
Donc, ça avait été le fait qu'il travaille pour les Sex Pistols en même temps qu'il faisait aussi un travail pour Paul McCartney était un peu controversé par des gens qui ne comprenaient pas pourquoi il partait dans toutes ces directions. So, the answer is Sid Vicious is no longer there. Sid Vicious n'est plus là pour en parler.
But they wanted to make a great record, and the reason I worked with them was because that's what I wanted to do, and I thought it was possible. If I hadn't seen the potential to make a great record, I wasn't interested in the hype and all the stuff in the media. If I didn't think I could make a good record, I would not have taken on the project.
So you mean you like the songs as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, not as well. That's the only reason I did it.
Mm-hmm. Donc lui, il a accepté cela parce que effectivement, il y avait des bonnes vibrations avec les chansons, le groupe, et que peu importe ce que pouvaient dire les gens, les médias et tout ça, ils s'en foutaient complètement. Ce qui comptait, c'était de faire un bon disque, de faire un bon produit. Yeah, going back about Pete Townsend, I was surprised that the White City, because you're working on this one, didn't make a great success, and I think it's a shame because I'm very happy to have you in front of me now to say it was really wonderfully produced.
I don't know. I mean, I think it was quite successful. I believe something like, I think Face to Face went to number one in Australia.
And the White City song as well,
yeah,
which is the opening of the disc.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people that love that album. No, it's a great album. And I loved working with Pete the whole time. He was a good pal. He is a good pal.
Yeah, I think so. Donc moi je lui demandais si le disque White City donc de Pete Townsend, qui est son premier album solo en fait, avait pas très bien marché. Donc peut-être pas en France, mais en tout cas Chris conteste cette remarque parce que ça a bien marché. C'est un album qui a beaucoup plu et et il a aimé travailler avec lui parce qu'effectivement c'est un artiste très compréhensif, très généreux. He's generous when you work with him. He's nice. He's a nice person.
Oh yeah. Oh, I had a fantastic time working with him.
Thank you. What about Moog synthesizer programmation? I saw that you've been working for David Bowie for doing programming.
On Man That Sold the World, yeah.
Okay.
Mick Ronson and Tony Visconti came down to see. Basically, what had happened is I'd asked George Martin to buy a Moog synthesizer.
Oh, you asked George Martin to buy one? Okay.
Yeah. And so we got one, and when we opened it up, there was no instruction manual. And it was just a blueprint, an electronic blueprint, which I'm not an engineer. I didn't understand it. George didn't understand it, so he said, "Good luck, Chris," and walked out.
Donc, j'ai posé la question de comment il s'était... Surtout, sachant qu'il n'est pas techniquement minded, enfin, il n'est pas trop intéressé par la technique, comment il se retrouve à faire de la programmation de synthé Moog pour David Bowie. Et en fait, donc, c'est George Martin qui avait fait acheter ce synthé, et le synthé est arrivé, et donc tout était à faire dessus, c'est-à-dire il y avait rien, il n'y avait pas d'instruction, donc il fallait que quelqu'un s'y colle. Donc George Martin, il a dit, bah, écoute, bonne chance, démerde-toi. Et puis, et donc c'est lui qui s'est tapé l'apprentissage en fait de cela. You've been working for Elton John also on synth programming, no? No.
Oh no, that's true. No, it's true. I did work on the first album, because basically what happened was that it was Mike Vickers gave me some help, the guy that programmed it on Maxwell's Silver Hammer, and he helped me learn the rudiments. And then it was out for hire, so I used to take it to various sessions, and I was very lucky. I did it on Elton's first album, or the Elton John album rather. Leonard Cohen's Songs of Love and Hate.
Oh yeah.
Man That Sold the World. George's All Things Must Pass.
Oh yeah.
A lot of things. I was really working on some of the best things around. I was very, very fortunate until one day I was asked to do some stuff for Chicory Tip, and it became unfashionable overnight.
Donc effectivement, il a fait cette programmation donc pour Bowie, avec Elton John aussi, l'album éponyme. Il a aussi joué sur George Harrison, All Things Must Pass. Donc voilà, il a fait ce genre de choses. Yes, and something with the Persuaders with John Barry as well.
That's right. Yeah, Persuaders. Yeah, okay. I played on that. Okay. Yeah.
What do you think of today's production methods of, working on computers? And are you still an analog man?
It's not so much an analog man. I think when you get a performance of a band playing, there's always something magical that happens. You can find a take with some magic in it. And if you start messing around with a computer and putting this in time with that and that in and just changing everything, I think it makes it very anodyne. It takes all the character out of everything. I mean, I can listen to the radio now, and all I can hear is like programming.
Yeah. So you mean when you work with analog tape and analog console,
it could be digital. It doesn't matter if it's digital or not. I don't like quantizing everything. I don't like just doing everything so that it's allegedly perfect, because what's the point?
Le travail numérique est un petit peu, comment dirais-je, un petit peu difficile dans la mesure où en fait on ne fait que quantifier des sons et on perd la spontanéité. On perd la spontanéité d'un enregistrement qui serait beaucoup plus fait ou de manière analogique avec une bande, ou c'est pas le fait que ce soit analogique ou numérique, c'est la méthode de travail qui fait que on empile plutôt on remplit des fichiers. C'est ça qu'il a voulu dire un peu.
I mean, the most important thing is to get the feeling from something.
Well,
that's not achieved from getting perfection.
C'est vrai que le plus important, c'est d'avoir du feeling. When I ask my students at Abbey Road Institute, what is for you a good song, I'm happy when they answer it's the emotion.
Yes, absolutely.
C'est une question que je pose souvent, un petit peu le piège avec les étudiants à Abbey Road Institute où je donne des cours, en leur demandant qu'est-ce que c'est pour vous une chanson, une bonne chanson. Alors, bon, il peut y avoir des réponses très terre à terre. Sometimes they answer, yeah, a good song is a song which brings money back. Mais la plupart du temps, quand on me dit la première chose d'une chanson, c'est une émotion, et je pense que c'est tout à fait d'accord. Yeah, I think it's emotion is the first. I mean, whatever you play, you sing, or must be the emotion. I'm going to ask you the floor has questions.
Sure.
Okay. Je ne voudrais pas être la première à parler tout le temps. Donc, si vous avez des questions à poser, peut-être il faudrait ou vous rapprocher. Il y a un micro de prévu. OK. On va vous faire passer un micro sans fil. Yeah. OK. Le deuxième. OK, il y a une d'abord. OK. Vous êtes gentil de vous présenter, donner votre prénom.
Yes, Chris, hello. My name's Andy Kirk, I'm a musician too, and I've been a very long-standing fan of the Beatles since I was 9 years old or something, way back when I was still in England. I just, listening to you, I appreciate the very humble approach that you have and you've had. But my question would be, what is your inner feeling beyond the fact that the main goal was to get a great song, whatever song, whichever band? What was your real inner emotion to have been able to work with what would become legendary?
I didn't quite understand the last sentence.
It's
What was your inner feeling? What was your inner emotion to have been able to have worked with people and with something, a project that would have become a true legend? I mean, like the Beatles. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Was there anything special?
I don't know. The honest answer is I don't know. I mean, it's just, obviously I had the same reason that somebody has the desire to write a book, paint a painting. I had that desire that I absolutely wanted to make records and be very faithful to the people that I work with. You never know that something's going to be successful, ever.
No.
So you're not caught up in that process. You don't think, you even lose sight of the fact that the people that you're working with are famous. All you can see at the time is the tremendous talent that they have.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really the only way I can explain it. You're certainly not aware that something special is happening while you're doing it.
You can't project what's going to happen with that particular song. You don't know what's going to happen to it. So obviously,
well, sometimes you have an inkling that one song's particularly important. I mean, there's been a few like that. I remember when I heard Brass in Pocket, the demo for Brass in Pocket. Right. I absolutely thought that was going to be a hit. They were doing it at the wrong tempo.
Yeah.
And it was definitely, out of 10 songs, it was probably Chris's least favourite. In fact, Chris's quote when I asked her to do the vocals, she's walking past me and she says, "This song goes on the album over my dead body."
Right.
Oh, ok, ça va être.
I forgot about the translation.
Ça va être
sorry.
un petit peu. Ça va, you have understood, but je vais quand même faire une petite synthèse.
Bien sûr.
C'est très long. Donc, bon, lui voulait faire de la production. C'était vraiment un désir de vouloir produire. Il y a des gens qui veulent faire de la peinture, d'autres qui veulent faire de l'écriture. Lui, c'était ça. Et donc, à partir du moment où voilà, il se met dans ce rôle. Donc, il se donne à fond. Mais par contre, il n'a pas du tout la capacité de prédiction de savoir si cette chanson va être un succès ou va peut-être pas très très bien marcher.
Oui, et
donc,
surtout le fait que je lui demandais s'il avait une émotion profonde par rapport aux personnes avec lesquelles il travaillait.
Oui.
Mais finalement non, parce qu'il ne focalisait que sur le produit qui allait se passer. Quoi. Enfin,
oui, tout à fait. Ce qui n'empêche pas d'ailleurs d'avoir quand même beaucoup d'affection avec les gens. Hein. Je connais sa manière d'être. Donc il a aussi cité l'exemple de Chrissy, de Pretender, de Chrissy Hind, qui disait que telle ou telle chanson allait marcher ou pas. Ouais. Oui. Je crois qu'il y a quelqu'un d'autre. Devant, il y avait une première question. Après, ce sera vous. Next, after that. Okay?
Hi, my name is Philippe. You've worked with Apple band Badfinger for their last album on Apple Records, S, and the two only albums on Warner Brothers, Badfinger and Wish You Were Here. And I would like to know if you were aware at the time of the intense trouble that the band was going through with not getting any money from their management, for instance, and how did it affect the recording process and the atmosphere in the studio?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, well, right from the beginning, Badfinger were having problems. Yeah. And when I first started working with them, I worked on an album called Ass, which we finished. They'd started it with Todd Rundgren. And as soon as we finished the album, they immediately were told to go into the studio to make another album by the manager to get the advance. So we worked on that for quite a long time. And that album came out on Warner Brothers, the album just called Badfinger. And they obviously wanted to go and promote the album, and nothing much happened. And I was summoned back to actually over to Caribou Studios to start another album. That was then in 74, I think. Yeah, April 74. And I was in the studio with them in the control room, and they were looking very, very down. And they said, like, well, why aren't we promoting the other record, and what's going on? And we haven't got any songs anyway. And I said, well, the only way to smash through this is to make the best record that we've ever made. And that was the kind of approach that I just wanted it to be the best record they'd ever made.
You mean the second one?
The one that was Wish You Were Here.
Okay.
Yeah. And because they didn't have lots of songs, I pinched Paul McCartney's idea from Abbey Road, and I put some pieces together. So that's the reason why you have those two very long bits of music, because you can hear that they're actually different songs put together. But I was very aware of what was going on, and it was I felt very, very sorry for them.
And you, after Wish You Were Here, they were summoned once more to the studio for another album for Warner Brothers with different producers. Do you know why you were not called this time for?
I think by that time I'd sort of... they weren't all in the band together then, were they? It was different guys in the band then. It wasn't the original. Yeah, it was different. It was different. I think they had asked me, actually. Yeah. They had asked me, but I mean, it was the point in making records that nobody's going to hear. So. Yeah. And I was very busy doing lots of other things. So.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, it's a bit difficult for me to go along. Give the microphone there. Yeah.
Well, hi, Angelo Happel. I want to ask you if you can now sing or play a song for us.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm a producer. I don't do that.
Together.
No. Happy birthday.
No. Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. No.
Très bien.
Thank you. So.
Well, Chris est musicien, pas chanteur. Je crois qu'il y a une question là-bas. Yeah, don't fall in the trap.
Good morning. My name is Carlos. I'm from Mexico.
Yeah.
My question is, how do you feel when you with the Beatles? Who asked you to play a Bumblebee and Piggies?
Yeah.
And you have a formation of musician or something like that. And now, when the Beatles have passed off, what do you feel that?
Okay, I just translate the question. Donc le fait d'avoir travaillé sur l'album d'un des Beatles à faire donc les parties qu'il a citées, donc les claviers, tout ça. Donc qui est-ce qui lui a dit de faire quoi en fait? Et le clavecin sur Piggies, le mélotron. Et donc qui est-ce qui lui a dicté un petit peu de faire les choses? Et puis qu'est-ce qu'il en pense maintenant? Donc,
okay, it was my idea to use the harpsichord on Piggies,
okay,
but it was George Harrison's idea that I should play it, which was a bit crazy. And I'm not that great on at playing, and so when I tried to play, then I was out of time with the rest of the band, so I had to put my part on afterwards. And then they asked me to write a solo, so I wrote a solo and I put that one afterwards. And then Bungalow Bill, I can't remember. It must have been John who suggested it because it was John's song. And John said, come on, Chris, you play the mellotron with us. And I said, what do you want me to do? They said, anything you like. So I used like a kind of balalaika sound in the verses. And I just changed it to trombone in the choruses. I was playing live with them, which is kind of crazy for me. It was one thing trying to help them make the record. But now I'm playing in the Beatles. That was too weird.
Yeah, because you were not expecting to do so.
Definitely not. Definitely not. So they just let me. So I was playing live with them, and it's just do whatever you want. So that's how it happened.
As you said, I understood clearly, you were doing your things on overdubs afterwards, or at the same time with
Piggies was overdubbed.
Overdubbed.
But because I was, I got kicked off the backing track because I was no good. But from my memory, somebody said that they've seen the tapes and that Bungalow Bill was overdubbed. But I remember playing live with them very definitely because I remember the thought of saying, this is crazy.
Oui, il a trouvé que c'était très, très, très étrange en fait. C'était inimaginable qu'il pouvait se retrouver à jouer avec les Beatles. Et donc, quand il a eu l'idée du clavecin donc pour Piggies, mais il pensait que c'était George qui allait le jouer et non pas lui. Et donc c'est lui qu'on a demandé. Et pour le mélotron, donc c'est une chanson de John et John a dit OK Chris, go and play.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
It's
Thank
an
you.
honor.
Thank you. Very kind. Thank you.
Est-ce que vous avez d'autres questions dans la salle ou Ah, il y en a une devant, monsieur.
Hello, it's Olivier again. I would like to know how you start to work in Abbey Road Studios, and if it's true it was like an administration with a lot of paper.
Well, firstly, I didn't work at Abbey Road Studios.
La première chose, il ne travaillait pas à Abbey Road Studios.
No. I had written to George Martin, and I wanted to be a record producer, and he gave me a kind of opportunity to learn with some other guys who were in his company, people like Ron Richards who did the Hollies.
Air Studio?
No, before the studio. This was Air Productions.
Okay.
There were 4 guys, kind of co-op. And so I joined them, and I had a kind of 6-month trial.
Ok, en fait, il a écrit à George Martin parce qu'il voulait faire de la production. Et donc, George Martin l'a pris dans son équipe. Et donc, il y a eu 6 mois d'essai voilà, qui ont été apparemment concluants.
Thank you.
Ok.
Hello, I'm Alessandro again. You worked with Wings Back to the Egg, and then 20 years later you were on the session of Run Devil Run. So how does it happen? How did it happen 20 years later to work again with Paul? And what were your memories of the session of Run Devil Run?
Run Devil Run was fantastic to work on because Paul went right back to the beginning. He was in number 2 studio playing a Hofner bass, singing live at the same time as he was playing the bass, which was really fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a dream come true because we did it like a live record. It wasn't... Back to the Egg took a long time, whereas this was live and it was Paul performing live, and it was fantastically exciting.
You're talking about the second recording or the
talking about Run Devil Run.
Okay. Oh, okay.
C'était fantastique.
C'est difficile.
Hello, Jean-Luc from Paris. Hello, Chris. Could you speak about Abbey Road, because in the new project of Abbey Road, your name is now credited because you do some session with the Beatles. Donc, what was the session in April 69? Which song do you work with them?
Well, what was happening was that Let It Be had not been finished. Recording just continued. They didn't. I don't think they knew what they were. They didn't know what they were doing at the time.
I just do it because I have the remark that I was not translating enough. Donc, you said Let It Be was not finished at when. Ok. Donc Let It Be n'était pas terminé et donc il continuait à faire des enregistrements. Ok.
And so the same thing happened. I think George went away again.
Et donc
George Martin went away again.
La même chose est arrivée qu'avec le double blanc. George Martin s'est barré en vacances, on holidays or something.
So some of the things I worked on there were Old Brown Shoe.
Ok, donc
the George Harrison song.
Il a donc travaillé sur une des chansons de George Harrison, Hop and Shoe.
I recorded, we did Octopus's Garden, Ringo's song.
Ok, la chanson de Ringo, Octopus's Garden.
Something, we did the backing track for Something.
Tous les recordings les bandes orchestres de Something.
And Oh Darling aussi.
Et Dime, voilà. Is that answering? ça répond à votre question?
Oh yeah, we did some work on that as well. Yeah. That was at the end. We just did some work on. They'd already recorded the backing track. That was just some overdubbing that we did. Yeah.
Donc là, oui, c'était, ça tombe bien, c'est
Half the
la
time
fin.
you forget.
Je crois qu'on arrive au terme de...
Je viens là comme le maître du temps.
Okay.
Tu sais, un peu comme à Fort Boyard. Rappeler que toutes les bonnes choses ont une fin, malheureusement.
Donc je fais une petite dernière.
Ah oui, il faut une petite dernière. On a toujours besoin d'un rappel. Tu vois.
Alors moi, ce que je voudrais... je sais que c'est une question un petit peu... En fait, c'est avec mon idée de cours que je donne à Abbey Road Paris, hein, donc où on forme, on essaye de trouver le nouveau George Martin et les nouveaux ingénieurs du son de maintenant. Donc, quel conseil Chris pourrait donner à des jeunes étudiants qui vont travailler dans ce milieu-là, parce que bon, vous avez vu, hein, c'est pas très facile. So my last question is what kind of advice? I mean, I have in mind what I teach at Abbey Road in Paris. What kind of advice would you give to these young people who come to embrace a work which is not easy? What kind of guidelines? I don't know.
I think, well, first of all, you don't know if you're going to be successful.
Oui, premièrement, donc on ne sait pas si on va avoir du succès.
So you shouldn't expect success.
Donc c'est pas la peine de l'espérer.
You put your whole heart into it.
Mettez votre cœur dedans, entier.
And if it works, it works.
Et si ça marche, ça marche. Ok, on fait conclusion là-dessus.
Et rincez-vous les oreilles tous les matins en écoutant de la bonne musique.
Yeah. He says, and clean your ears every morning, listening good music.
Oh yeah. Actually, you get to the point where you can't listen to music.
just a last one. Do you still play instruments?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. But so if we had invited you to be on stage with us this afternoon, you would have said no. Parce que ce matin, quand je lui ai dit qu'on allait jouer, il a dit « You say oui ». Ça veut dire moi aussi. J'ai dit non, c'est nous, notre groupe. Et il s'attendait à ce qu'on l'invite à jouer sur scène. Mais il pratique pratiquement plus de musique maintenant.
Mais on peut trouver une vieille basse qui traîne dans un coin. Hein.
Thank you very much. Merci.
Merci vous.
And thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Chris Thomas, Gisele Clark. La conversation du Beatles Day. Moi, je reste très bien là. Hein. Salvatore, félicitations. Il y a un caméraman dans le coin là pour me faire un zoom là-dessus. Ah voilà. Donc, design Salvatore. Voilà. Je vais essayer de pas trop trembler. Je regarde dans le cadre. Voilà. Merci beaucoup. Donc, si vous n'avez pas tout vu, c'est 0485 682 335 et 0483 051 comme le pastis 741. Voilà, on va tout de suite mettre un petit peu d'ordre sur la scène et nous préparer pour le prochain groupe. Donc vous avez là 10 petites minutes pour assaillir le bar ou la cafétéria. Il y a encore à boire, à manger jusqu'au bout de la nuit. Tout de suite, maintenant, Little Help et après Antoine Goodzen.